Hi everyone, welcome to this last episode of our Mapping Urban AI series. My name is Hubert and I'm the founder of Urban AI. So basically, Mapping Urban AI is a series organized by the CDOB, a Barcelona-based think tank that is conducting several international research projects, including on city and urban topics, in collaboration also with the Global Observatory on Urban Artificial Intelligence and Urban AI, which is a think tank dedicated to the emerging field of urban artificial intelligence. For this Mapping Urban AI series, we invited several global cities, including the city of Buenos Aires, the city of New York, the city of Barcelona, and today the city of Helsinki to better understand how they are using and implementing urban artificial intelligence. And for this last episode, we have the great pleasure to welcome Pasi Rautio, who is a service manager and team lead AI and optimization at the city of Helsinki. And Pasi will present us during the following 20 minutes how the city of Helsinki is implementing urban artificial intelligence. And following this presentation, we'll have a 20-minute Q&A session with all of you. So if you want to ask a question, you can either use the chat during Pasi's presentation, or you can open your micro at the end of the presentation and directly ask your question. Pasi, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. I'm very delighted to be here, and I will tell you something what Helsinki is doing in the field of AI and how we are using it. And as I was presented, my name is Pasi Rautio. I work in the city of Helsinki, and I'm leading AI and automation team here in our central administration. And my team is 12 people at the moment, and our all data and analytics team is almost 25 people. But that's not the whole truth about the city of Helsinki organization. And here you can see our beautiful city. Well, the spring is not that long, but it's coming. But as you can see, this is very beautiful and complex city, but so is our organizational chart as well. And this is my favorite slide always to present, because this kind of tells you what kind of services we have to provide and what kind of a organization we have behind those services. And here you can see central administration and city executive office where I work, and we are trying to help all the other divisions to use digitalization and AI. And we have also education division, and so it means that we have kindergartens and schools a part of the city organization. And also we have urban environment division. So we have also kind of streets, urban planning, parks, and this kind of services to the citizens as well. And then we have culture and leisure division. So we have swimming halls, beaches, theaters, and libraries, for example. And also in our organization, we also have social services, healthcare, and rescue division. And that means that we have also hospitals, and we have firefighters and doctors working for the city itself. And as you can understand here, our organization is quite large, and we have almost 39,000 people working for the city. And this means also that every division, they have their own IT department. So we always have to work together to find collaboration in the field of AI and also data and digitalization. And it's not always easy to lead this kind of organization. And we have almost 800 city services that we have to provide. We provide them to the residents, of course. We provide those to our own employees, also to the visitors and companies. And this is the field where we could actually use data analytics, and AI more efficiently. And we have made also a data strategy for the city, and it was made in 2020. And we have there a vision that the data generated by Helsinki is the most usable and used city data in the world by 2025. This is quite ambitious target and vision, because we have just over 2 years time to achieve this. But there's these two vision levels. It says that we have the most usable data, so it means we have to have good quality data. We have to have the data itself, and we have to be able to share the data. And the other one is that we want to have the most used city data, and that means that we have to use it, we have to share it to the companies, to residents, and also we have to use it in our processes and services. And this is where we actually want to use AI to help us. In our vision, we have 4 objectives. We have this one called proactive and personalized services at people's terms. And this is the first thing, and I'm leading this section here. Then we have the data-driven decision making, and this is lead by my colleague Anu Henriksson. And then there's the third one, optimizing cities operation, and this is also lead by me. So we want to use RPA and lots of automation to do better processes in our services. And also this is the place where we could actually use machine learning. And then the fourth one is fostering business ecosystem. So we could actually share the data. We could get data from the companies and also collaborate in the field of our services with companies. We have 9 principles in our data strategy, and the most important one is that the 8th one that says data analytics capabilities are developed through concrete use cases based on the unit's needs. So we actually have to find use cases where we try to learn more about new technologies and then do the actual architecture behind that, not opposite down. And this is our main idea, what we are doing in Helsinki. We want to change operation from reactive to proactive services. So we want to totally put upside down our idea of how we produce our services to the citizens. And in the old world, it's this way that citizens, they have to fill a form. First, they have to find the form, and then they have to kind of learn how to fill it. Then they have to find information where they can send the form. And when they have done it, they can be in the process and then get the actual service after that. But in the future, we want to do this totally different way. And because this is kind of hard for the citizen itself, he have to think lots of things, and he has to find things. And if there's a problem, he can't find help for that service. And we have already made few of these proactive services. The first one was in 2021. It was preschool placement for 6-year-olds, and it happened with SMS message. So we actually already knew the parents, we already knew the children, we already knew where they lived, we knew already where is the nearest school. So we could actually send them information that this is the school placement for your child. And this is possible because almost every family, they choose the nearest school because all the schools are very good quality schools, and they are public schools in Helsinki and in Finland. So it helped lots of in our own processes, and also it helped in family's life because it was so much easier. So in the past, they had to fill a form and wait about 2 months about the decision. But nowadays, they just have the text message and they can confirm it, and it's done in 1 minute. So it's so quickly and easy. But that was kind of easy way to do it. But it's not that easy always, because we don't have the data, and it's not always one trigger that says that now the person needs the service. It was easy because all the children were 6-year-olds and they needed the service at the same time. But if we want to be more proactive, we actually have to personalize our services. We have to provide those services in the right time. So we have to actually know when is the right time, and we have to provide that service proactive way, even before the citizen itself has even realized that he needs the service. And this is something that we could actually use data and analytics lots more. But we cannot use AI or the data if the citizens doesn't trust how we use new technologies or how we use data. And the trust is the main key why we do these things openly and transparent way. That's why we have made this AI register. We made this, it was probably 2020 when we published this AI register. We made it with a company called Sidot, and we work with City of Amsterdam. And this is basic register where we use AI. So we have made information which kind of systems services we use AI, and these are that kind of services that we provide to the citizens. We don't put here all our cases that are not visible to the citizens, but that might be in the future that way as well. At this point, we have 7 or 8 cases in the register, and there are coming more. And that's mostly because we also put our chatbots as well. And we share the basic information about these solutions, and we tell citizens what kind of data sets we are using, how the data is processed, what about the non-discrimination is done, what about human oversight is done, and also the risk management, how is it done. And these are the basic information about all the systems. And it's easy when we have made those systems by ourselves, but sometimes they are provided from some companies, so there might be a little bit black boxes, but even though we have to be able to share the basic information. And also because of this, we have made the ethics principles for data and AI. And we have now those 8 principles there. So the first one is human orientation. The second one is transparency, explainability, fairness and equality, responsibility and trust, privacy, safety, and the last one is under human control. So these are the basic principles that when we are developing new system or taking new IT system where we use AI, we have to think how these are in production, how these are affecting to the citizen. And also, we want to be totally open and transparent. It's already been said in our city strategy, and nowadays, because we cannot use always the citizens' data, but we also need the data. So we have made also this kind of my data operator skill set. So we could actually ask permission from the citizens, are we allowed to use he or her data to provide better services or new services? And we could have a consent agreement, or it could be based on a law that we can use the data. and then we can find the way to use the data, and then we kind of put it that to the law case database, because we have this compliance and ethics board that is kind of figuring out the right way. And then if they are using AI in that service, we have to put that to the AI register as well. So this is the basic principle how we be open and transparent about the data using. But also we have made this process called experimentation accelerator. So it's called kokeilukiihdyttämö, and this is kind of a try to figure out new ways to use AI and learn about that. And that's for the city employees, so they can actually learn and experiment these new technologies and find a way to use AI. That is kind of a quite easy way to start and try, and these are mostly like 10,000 euros, these experiments, and we gather all those lessons learned from those cases. And now we have received over 100 proposals for these experimentations, and we have made already for the experiment using AI or robotics. And they are always campaign that we launch, and they can fill the form and try to get the money. And now we are starting the 7th campaign this spring. And these experiments, they have to be done in 90 days. So they are quite small. And these are few examples what kind of cases we have done there. We have made the textual analysis and classification of customer feedback. So we use data analytics there, and also a little bit of AI. And also we have made this kind of we used machine learning to recognize city pedestrian crossing from aerial photos. So we could actually learn from the pictures what kind of crossroads we had, and are they in good quality or not. But also the newest case we have helped other division was that we wanted to learn our metro cases, that what kind of error indicator we got and which one of those need kind of action or not. We got in the past almost 1,000 fault signals, and they were not all something that needed some kind of actions. And now we can learn that about 100 of those needs kind of actions, and we have done it by using AI. But then what is coming up next? We have machine learning ops. So we have this kind of a learning template and process how we use AI and how we do the actual code. And then we have done anonymization of the text solution, so we could actually have a data and we put that to the algorithm, and then the algorithm makes the anonymization for us. And also now we are starting the text analytics project, so we could find needs for the text analytics from different divisions, how we could actually use AI to recognize data or text, and how we could do that in overall. And the last one is something that is connected about our urban city and what kind of data we have and what kind of experience we have done also in the past. We have this Helsinki 3D model, so it's called digital twin of the city. And we have made two kinds of models of the city. Other one is a nice picture, but the other one has lots of actually information about the buildings and the streets. And this is something that we have used. So we have two models, reality model and city GDM model. And this is something that urban planning might use, and also some other companies have used to develop their own processes or services to the other companies. This is something really nice picture, but also we could use that to do this kind of a experiment. So we have solar energy skills, so we could actually calculate how much solar energy we could have, the potential we could have from the our buildings if there was solar panels. And that is something that different houses could use, and then they could learn, should they put solar panels to the rooftops or not. And this is very nice solution to learn from. So this is my 20-minute presentation overall what we are doing in city of Helsinki, and all of this is based on transparency and openness. And also we have made lots of data open in our open data website, and that is something that started our openness 12 years ago, and this is the path we are still doing our AI development.
Thanks a lot, Pasi. Perfect timing. It was exactly 20 minutes. Thanks a lot for this very insightful presentation and how you are using and will use urban artificial intelligence. If you have questions, feel free to use the chat or to virtually raise your hand. We already have some questions in the chat. Shmuel is asking, so how AI technologies can be used to resolve, basically, to cope against, to cope with social inequalities and economic disparities in Helsinki.
I checked the question from chat as well. Okay. Well, I didn't tell you this, that because we have that practice services, we are starting now the practice services project where we're trying to combine service design and also the data quality, data skill set. And this is something that we want to combine. And this is kind of a solution how we could actually understand more about social problems based on the data and AI. And that is something that we could learn lots from the data, and then we could actually do better services and do positive discrimination, so we could actually put more money those areas where there might be some problems in the residents. And that is something that we already use. And if there's something area that is people that are earning less money, so there might be more problems in schools, so we could actually put more money to the schools and teachers and this kind of stuff, so they could actually get more benefits from the school. And this is that we would like to do more in the future.
Okay, thank you, Pasi. Actually, I have another question, because you talked about transparency, and you explained like your 9 principles. Like one of the last principle, it was about like citizens agreement, like they have to agree to have their data used. And I was wondering concretely, how are you doing this? And do you envision to work with like data cooperation and data trust, because this is something that have been discussed a lot in the past years? So I was interested by those elements.
Yeah, it wasn't in our data and ethical principle, but it was in presentation, like you said. So we have already done the my data operator skills. So we have that actual technical skill to do that. But we don't need always citizen approval to use data, because sometimes the law itself says that we need the data and we are allowed to use the data. But if you want to provide more services that are not forced to use, or they are nice to have services, then we could actually ask if they want to give us the money, give us not the money, but the data, so we could actually provide better services or more services based on the data. And this is something that we can do, but we haven't done that much yet, because we had the skill set of my data operator last year.
Okay, so the idea is that I would have access to services, some urban services, depending on if I agree or not to share some data related to these services.
Yeah.
Okay. Shamil is asking another very interesting question. He's asking, is it you recommending implementing AI technology in municipalities of poor and low socioeconomic countries like countries of Africa and Southeast Asia?
Okay, just check. I read again.
So in the meantime, and to let you some time to read it, Pasi, Shamil, if you're interested on this topic, we had an episode with UN Habitat. I guess it was the third episode, and they explained how they are using computer vision to better map urban informal settlements in African and countries. So I will share the link in the chat, but you will already have a lot of existing case studies.
This is a hard question. Because well, it depends about what kind of services different areas they have to provide and what kind of data you have, because in Finland we have lots of data, so we could actually provide these proactive services, and that is more cost efficient to provide those proactive services. But if you don't have the data, you cannot do those proactive services at all, and it's not that easy to provide those efficient services. But overall, there's a problem as well, because sometimes if we want to provide those proactive services, every citizen will have those services when they need it, and that might make more costs, because we have to provide that service to the, I don't know, 20,000 people. But if you have to apply it, you probably don't find the application and you don't get the service at all. So it's more cost efficient for the city if you don't have to provide that many services. So it depends. I don't know if I answered the question at all, but
no, I think it's quite clear, and it also highlights why and how cooperation between cities can be so important on this topic when you need data and when it can be sometimes quite expensive to access it. I have another question for you, Pasi, because at the end of your presentation, you showed like how data and urban AI can be used in a way to kind of energy efficient cities with the solar panel example. And I was wondering if you have in mind other projects in terms of like reducing greenhouse emission that you will implement in the coming years with the city of Helsinki?
This is not my actual area, this 3D model and those solution what they have done. It's my colleagues' team, so I don't have that much information about those. But I do know that we have that good quality data there about city buildings and some other buildings, and we could do those kind of calculation about solar energy efficiency or something else. But those are experiments at this point, and we actually have to find those actual services that we could provide based on that data. But the data itself is open data, so other companies or citizens, they can actually use the data itself.
Okay, thank you. We have another question from Hector Dominguez, who is asking, I wonder if you can describe the team that is working on AI and how do they work with other teams like cybersecurity, privacy, and general data services?
Yes. Well, as my first slide presented, that we have those 4 big divisions, and they all have their own IT departments, and they already have few data experts and not so many. So this central administration where I work, we have more data skills than others, because we are trying to help different divisions to use these new kinds of technologies and data. But in my team, we have now 5 data scientists, and also I have 2.5 data engineers, and also I have API professional and also few other professionals concerning RPA and robotics. But also we buy these kind of skills from the company, so we don't have to do everything ourselves. But this, in our central administration, we have cybersecurity and privacy officer, but it's not always that easy, because we are living in Europe and we have GDPR, and that kind of says no before we even have done anything, because the privacy is so important in that law. So we might have lots of ideas how we could use AI or data, but GDPR says no very easily. So we cannot actually find those efficiency from our processes because of that.
We have another question from Samuel, who is asking, what opportunities created era of COVID-19 pandemic developments AI technology in Helsinki and other places in Finland?
Well, people started working online because of the pandemic, and also the leading by using data and analytics. It started because of the COVID, because we had to find the data very quickly, and we had to understand how the COVID was spreading in the city. So we actually we had to develop our skill set very quickly, and now we have this other team that are trying to use data by itself to help leaders to lead better. So it was kind of a good thing as this kind of technology and data wise, but because of our organization, it's quite large. We have almost 900 IT systems, so data is not that good quality, and it's not that easy to get to the other services. So we still have to work on data governance and data management to get the data actually in use. And that's why we cannot use AI, because the data is not that good quality every time. So we cannot use that in these cases. So we have to kind of look in the future, so we could actually buy better basic IT systems that gather better data.
You said several times during your presentation, and also right now, that you have several data scientists, you have some capacities. I wouldn't say a lot, but you have with more capacities than several cities. And I know that today in the chat, in the audience, we have smaller cities, smaller organizations. So maybe like two things. First, which advice would you like to share with smaller organizations that do not have as many capacity as you, but still want to implement urban AI for what we discussed? And the other questions is, what would be your advice for big organization based on your own experience?
Well, I think those my tips are the same for smaller ones and bigger ones, because the most important thing is the data itself. If you don't have the data, or it's not in good quality, you cannot use it. That's the first thing you have to put to the production, and you got the governance, the data itself. And after that, you could actually try to understand how AI and data analytics can help in your own processes or your services to the citizens. And we started with experimentation. So we had that experiments where we tried to learn what kind of a skill set we need. And it took like 3 or 4 years to understand more about AI and what kind of a people and skills we need to the city. And it's not very quick, that process, but I think you could start from small and then go bigger. And we are not that far away as it might sound, because we still are trying to figure out what kind of AI technologies we actually need citywide and which are not that important. So we are still learning as well.
Well, thanks a lot, Pasi. Do we have any other questions? It's now or never. No? Okay, great. Well, then I think we are good. Thanks again, Pasi, for the very insightful presentation, for taking the time to share your experience, your wisdom during this Q&A session. It was a great pleasure to welcome you. It was actually the last episode of this Mapping Urban AI series that we organized with CDOB and the Atlas of the Global Observatory of Urban Artificial Intelligence. Thanks a lot also to Alexandra and Marta. They are with us today from CDOB, who organized and co-moderated this series. It was really great to co-organize this with you and to have this amazing sessions with all of you. Thanks for attending this episode. Recordings will be very soon available on CDOB and Urban AI YouTube channel. Hopefully we might organize very soon other events, online events like this. Bye everyone, and have a great week.